What a pleasure it has been to build a friendship with Christine Blanchette. So she is thank you, Zondra. Thank you for stepping in and leading in. This was perfect, divine. You know, when you meet somebody or you see somebody in a book and you're like, wow, I'd really like to reach out to her. So I had that moment. I saw Christine. We both shared the same book and an anthology where there was multiple people. And I went in and I was like, who's my tribe? Who's my tribe? And I just happened to be reading. Look at this. And I was like, wow. And she's Vancouver and I'm Vancouver. And I haven't heard about her before. And I reached out and graciously, here's a woman who owns 2 TV stations with a media resume from here to the floor. And I'm like, hey, want to talk? Want to connect? And she's like, absolutely. So here's the beautiful thing. She is a prime example of that ease, just a relationship that has been of ease and grace. So don't think because someone's been in 15 books or has 12 TV stations or has been like, don't think they're not human. This woman is beyond human. She's been fantastic. Now look, she is going to teach us today today how to produce your own TV show from passion because she had that experience. She's obviously a media maven. She's a TV host and she's a producer. And something about Christine you may not know, but you will soon come to know, is her love for clearing her head on the road with her own 2 feet. This woman has ran the Boston Marathon. Now, if you don't know anything about the Boston Marathon, you don't just get to show up. You have to qualify. You got to be in play. It's a marathon for players. She also won the opening of Expressway in South Korea. Imagine running in South Korea and winning. Awesome. Those are a couple of things that you might not know about her. So Christine, thank you so much for joining us today on the Speak Up, Stand Up and Show Up. You're an absolute doll. Girlfriend, take it away.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and happy International Women's Day. I'm excited to be here, and I like to dedicate this talk to my mom, how to produce your own show. My mom, when I run, I think of my mom a lot, and she's no longer here, but I feel her every day. I think about her, so I know she's here right now. And she got me started in the creative arts and poetry and running, but I'm going to talk a little bit about running before. But what I'll be talking about, my background and how I got started, running, teaching, and broadcast media, how running made an impact on my life as a competitive runner, teaching, as I said, writing my sports column, and following your passion could lead to creating your own show. And then tips to get started in running and tips on starting your own program. So little did I know my passion for running would lead to creating my own TV show, as I said. And I was introduced to running. And this is how it all started with my older brother, John. And I was in high school. Remember that day, John says, well, we need you, Christine. We need you to run for points. And I'm going, what? For points? Yes, we need you. And I said, oh, okay, because he's my brother. I said, okay, I'll do it. And it's just so we did win on our high school track team. But little did I know that I had talent as a runner. And I owe my brother, to my success. And so I continued running on snowy days with my brother. And it was very cold, but my times in cross country, I made the zones, which is before the provincials. And then the team, we broke the high school record. But I left running. And I didn't know that running would become the fabric of who I am today and years after college. I actually gave up running in 1998. I started running in 1998 rather, and moving out west from Quebec. And I had a friend say to me, well, you want to go for a run? And I'm like, I don't really want to revisit running again. But I ended up doing it like my brother, and I ran for like 20 minutes. That 20 minutes was so hard. I was huffing and puffing. I was out of shape. And I thought, but then I kept at it. I thought, I love challenges. And I thought, you know what? I'll listen to my brother and maybe I could do, get better in shape and who knows what. So, but then in 1990s, like in that later part, both my passions for running and interviewing met together. When I interviewed my running coach. Well, he wasn't my running coach when I interviewed him on Westside Profile, but he became my coach. He said, let's go for this run. And I said, okay, I'll run. And I followed a program that he put together. And it was like my first marathon in 1999. I chose the Vancouver International Marathon. So that marathon I hold dear because little did I know when I crossed the finish line in the Vancouver Marathon, Olympian Carrie Nelson said, "Did you know you qualified for Boston?" And I'm like, "What's Boston?" I didn't know. I'm like I was astonished that I qualified on my first try. And it's the most prestigious marathon on earth. So I continue to build my base as a runner. It is an incredible event. And I remember being at the starting line in my gate. They put you in gates, and there were fighter jets coming over top flying past, low pass, which was 12:01 in 2005 when I ran the Boston Marathon, because I didn't run it when I qualified. Then I went to do it in 2005. So did you know 500,000 fans screamed their approval on yours and not just me? Boy, does it ever send your adrenaline up. Going through Wesley College, I mean, I couldn't high five everyone. It was impossible because I was exhausted. The last 10 kilometers was really hard. It was like a war zone in my mind. There were runners, like great runners, quitting because it was just so much, either because they weren't feeling well, and I felt like quitting. I felt like quitting that last 10 kilometers, but I said no. I was thinking of my mom. My mom was watching it because it was televised. I'm not giving up, not giving up, even though I felt tired. But it's Heartbreak Hill, and that's the Crescent Hill that comes about 10 kilometers left. So it was an incredible event. So if you ever have an opportunity to do Boston, do it. I'd like to go back, and maybe I will. And then there's like, it is going through the loud sounds and the fans. It's so supported by everyone and the volunteers. The volunteers are wonderful. So you think about, I like to read here, it's like a Beatles reunion tour that would have sounded like. So think of that. I got chills. And furthermore, so a year later, I completed a 50K. And my running coach said to me, "Are you sure you want to do a 50K? Well, I did a marathon. What's another, And I'm thinking, okay, I'll do more training. So I haven't run another 50K since, but this was a year after. And I was ranked second in Canada, but it was an incredible event as well. And so I ran well in other events like the Vancouver Sun Runner, the top 100 women. And then in 2000, I went to South Korea to teach English as a second language. But little did I know, I thought I'm going to hang up my running shoes. I'm not going to run. I'm going to take a hiatus. But there, I was so stoked because a lot of people, they're really into fitness and hiking, which I love hiking. So I remember that day, I had my feet on the starting line and it said go. So I was excited just to run a half marathon. It was a little more than a half marathon. It was the opening of the expressway that Deb was talking about. It's gone one to a province, which I lived in Wanju, which is like a 90-minute train ride. So I won, and I didn't know I was in the lead. And how did I know? I'm running like an energy bunny. This helicopter came flying, coming down close, and I'm like, oh my goodness, am I in trouble? What's going on? I didn't understand this. They were taking photos of me, and then this lead male runner passes it. You're in the lead, and I go, what? I didn't do it like that, mind you, because I was tired, but I just kept running, and then I made the finish line, and then as soon as I crossed the finish line, they pushed me like a rock star, and I was like, what is going on? It was cameras all over. I just felt like I was in a different world. It was so surreal. So I was on TV, I was on radio, I was in print, and then the next day I went to school, and not that I wasn't treated well by my students. They treated me like a rock star. I remember going to Paris Baguette. It was my favorite place. Or I didn't go every day, but I would have a bagel or whatever, and they would go, Hassa, I think you're number one. But it was an incredible, even the gym, they gave me a free membership for a while, but it gave me so much confidence. Running has been the common thread for me. And I owe running so much. And I took on the clinic coordinator role for the Vancouver Summer in about 8 years. And then I started the run program at South Arm Community Center in Richmond. And I enjoy teaching. Then it led to the University of British Columbia, which I still teach, but I taught marathon, half marathons, and then 10Ks. Now I'm teaching. I'm always learning. I teach the Learn to Run clinic at UBC, and I love it. It's just like they inspire me, and I wouldn't give it up. So, and then I created the runner's column, which is called A Runner's Mind. And now I did not create the title, my coach did. And so that column started in the Richmond News, the Richmond Review, and now in the Sherbrooke Record, which is Quebec's second largest newspaper. So it's weekly. So I write about sports media. I write about inspirational stories, and it's wonderful. So my stories have been featured in the Seattle Times, Optimize, Impact, Live It magazine in New York. And I've been on the cover of magazines like Fame magazine for fitness and entertainment, fitness entertainment, and then Elle Voyage and Just Looks. And then I'm happy to report to you all that I've got accredited to go to the World's Women's Cup in Australia, New Zealand. This is going to be my second Women's World Cup, which was in Vancouver in 2015. And this is going to be filing stories. Maybe we'll do some broadcasts, but it's for the Sherbrooke Record, which I just, as I said, I owe running, the sport of running, so much. And I grew up shy and introverted, but I have a fire, and it's from my mom, and it's from God. It's believing in you. And even today, like I'm speaking in thousands of you, and I'm just so blessed to be here. So without running, I wouldn't be here. And I am a testimonial. Like, I think everybody has a story. Follow your passion, live your dream. Never give up, because that's what I did. It may take a different turn or a different way around it, but it'll happen. So I can't remember having an interest in media. As I said, I was shy, but it became magnified after working at Rogers Television and CBC, and firsthand seeing stories, how they were created or how they were developed and produced, and becoming a great storyteller. So as a natural extension of my writing, my attention circled back to broadcast media, having had training at Rogers TV. So what happened in 2008 was well, I didn't think it was a great opportunity. I got laid off from my job post media. I was working as sales coordinator, still writing. And I thought, what am I going to do? I had an epiphany. Hey, I know, create a TV show. And I'm thinking, yeah, I could do this. But I sent off my proposal to Shaw TV. It took 2 years to get off the ground. 2 years. I was losing my patience, but I kept at it. So my first run with it was born in 2013. when my first show, Canada's Running Fitness and Health Program, and it's on Optic TV, video on demand, and I think Living Network, and it's live streaming on ZondraTV, which I'm really, really excited. And Toni TV soon to be. So I interview fitness conscious people, Olympians, physicians, wellness professionals, and the list goes on, because the Run With It has stronger legs. I interview celebrities who are following healthy lifestyle. People have a story, and I like to help others, and that's my platforms. So which leads me to the closing act. It's my second show. It's a music, entertainment. I interview filmmakers and CEOs in the industry, and people who need a voice, that I'm here to help. So I already talked about my show on, how I got the new show, but when I look back in 2008, what happened to me was the best thing that ever happened. So one door closes, another door is open. And then people ask me, do I have a favorite interview? Not everybody. I don't, because everyone is special. But, however, right behind me, I don't know if you can see it, Biff Naked was my first interview, and she's a rock star, international recording artist, author, breast cancer survivor. She's a humanitarian. She's just a wonderful soul. And I didn't know how to contact her because I'm thinking I'm starting this show. Who am I going to interview? So what I did was I reached out to her on the website. The manager got a hold of me and said, hey, you want to interview Viv Nate? I said, yeah. So she's a strong supporter of my shows today, and it's just wonderful. She accepted my invitation. So I wouldn't have a show as well if it wasn't the support of my husband, John. He didn't even know I had media experience because I don't really tell everybody. He's like, yeah, I didn't know you had Rogers and Space. Well, because it didn't really come up. And my team, and but he believed in me from the very beginning. And you need that support. And I have a great team, as I said, a crew who believes in everything I do. So I wouldn't have the shows. So now I'm excited to be teaching freelance producing at BCIT, British Columbia Institute of Technology, and I help people who are interested in launching their own show. But I also teach at other schools like the Burnaby School Board. I teach business writing, I teach office skills, and little did I know I'd be teaching office skills, but I love teaching, as I said. I feel it just encourages me, it gives me that passion and fire to keep going, to keep running, to keep producing the shows, because we never stop learning. I want to read, I was recently featured in Canvas Rebel magazine as a Q&A session. What was the most rewarding aspect of being a creative in your experience? The most rewarding aspect to me is inspiring others to engage in physical activity, actually making a difference in someone's life, someone that decided enough was enough, and it was time for positive change. To have anything to do with those kinds of events is a humbling experience. There are always signs that tell me if things are unfolding as interesting. I always listen to my intuition, my gut. What does my gut say? And, looking back, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to get laid off. And I sure did. But then, it was the best thing ever happened. So my platform has grown over the years without the support of sponsors, supporters, friends, everyone involved. So how do I start a TV show? Well, I have some tips here, and I'm always happy to help others if you need more information or find a mentor, find a support. My mentor was not only my mom, but someone in the media was, not only Biff Naked, but Karen Tanger, who took me, she said, you can do this, find that. Now, your mentor may change over the years. You may change to somebody else. Research into programs. There's so many programs out there, but there's a lot of running shows, right? But no one can compete against you. You are who you are. Be who you are. There's no one like you. When in performance planner, Deb's in her planner, be who you are. There's no one like you. And I think that's the selling point. Be who you are. Have a plan. There's other options because you may start a running show, you may start something and think, well, maybe do a podcast. Maybe it's not broadcast or linear TV. It could be something else. Network. Just network like crazy. You never know who you're going to be, who you're going to meet. And everyone, you think, well, this person maybe can't offer, not say offer, but you never know if you meet something else. Words I like to live by: passion equals money. Passion will follow money. If you're into the passion, it sustains you. So whatever you're passionate about, mine is running, as you know, all of you, how to launch your show, sustain it. Drive equals results. You have the drive. People ask me, what gets you up in the morning? What gets me up in the morning is that I am thankful. I'm grateful for every day. Every day I say I'm thankful. Patience equals success. Now, when I said I'm thinking 2 years, like I kept knocking on the door and I'm thinking, where is the show? And then don't give up. And that's Charmaine Crooks. She's a 5-time Olympian. Her company is NGU. Never give up. So she is a strong supporter. She's been a mentor of mine as well. And for running tips, if you're new to running, show a little persistence and patience. You'll soon learn to love it. We may not always love it. Choose something else. It's more than just putting one foot in front of the other. It's more than just putting one foot in front of the other. Running requires proper footwear, gear, hydration, running program. It is vital not to get injured or get burnt out. and then it'll improve and it'll enjoy the sport. Preparation tips: ensure that you are properly trained and hydrated and properly fueled, and always double knot your shoelaces. I got a story here. When I ran the Delta half, I didn't tie my shoelaces, and my coach never let me forget it. Why didn't you tie your shoelaces? Because I was a newbie. Then I'd go on the sidelines. I lost time. But I'll never do that again. So, and you could trip too and fall. So, have a reason for running. It could be to lose weight or try something new. And have a goal. Have a short-term goal. It could lead to 5K to a 10K, and start small and build on it. And then follow program, your goal and lifestyle. And then find a club. If you don't want to run with others, it's fine. I run on my own until I run with the clinic. And if you follow the right program, that's the key. And there should be a hard, easy principle. So run hard, the next day run easy, do cross training. So you have to start somewhere. And as I said, be patient with it and stay positive. Now there are days I don't feel like running, and we're human. I check, oh, I'm human, right? So I'll go out and I'll say, I'll run for 5 minutes. I'll go in the gyms and snowing. I do elliptical instead. Recording a logbook app, Fitbit. I have a Fitbit. I don't have it now, but that's what I do. And then pool running. If any of you like pool running or running, which is like when you work for vacation dive, you mimic running in the pool. And I wrote a story on that, which was something I had to do. It was like a cat in water. I hate water, but I ended up doing because I wanted to, get back on track. I had a hamstring injury. And so before you hit the road, just make sure you're following a running program, properly fitted by a specialty running shoe store, and everything, and dress for the weather conditions. And tell someone, for safety reasons, where you're going. Do not ever go out. I'm not trying to dictate to anyone here, but it's always a good idea to, I tell my husband, I tell someone where I'm going. And therefore, for safety reasons. And then do your stretches, IT band, your everything. So that is it. And I wanted to thank everyone for listening to me today. And I hope I encourage everyone maybe to start running. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. And I know we didn't announce your gift, but you've got an incredible gift. I mean, I'm not the only one that's nodding their head. Thank you. That was amazing. So many